Hey, how's everybody? I want today to talk about doing something that if you're going to expand in beekeeping, you really need to think about. That's turning this into this. And it's crazy simple to do. I don't know why people think it's complex, but you can save big bucks by doing your own woodenware. I'll just give you a quick example. I was looking at prices because I wanted to kind of compare, and was out on a major manufacturer's page. I won't say the name, but the opposite of woman is, and if you take a whole bunch of ponds and put them together, it would create a very big, there's one named Superior, Michigan, Huron. Anyway, so you get an idea of where I'm going. Their prices for an unassembled hive was running around $19, okay? So that was for these 4 pieces of wood. It was up around $42 assembled and painted. So the cost difference is basically $19 by putting your own together and then doing your own painting. And I've got another video where I show how I make it easy, simple to paint. Check that video out. Or is it over here, Evan? Or where are you gonna put it? Okay. Today we're gonna talk about how to do this woodenware. And here's what's cool about it. You think, oh my God, it's complex. It's like, they come like this. Technically, this is the only tool you really need to make it happen. There are a couple others that I'm going to show you as we go along here, but if you got a hammer, you can make a hive body. So let's get on with it. Let me show you how simple this really is to make happen. So this is really pretty simple. This one is done and it will be painted very soon. So I'm working on mediums, and they're honey supers, and I needed to do 20 for this year. I needed to add some and replace some. Bought these at Nobby. Got them from a company in Mendon, Michigan, although they were at Louisville, but Beeline, wow. I have never had woodenware that fit together as well as these. So you're going to have 4 pieces. Obviously, you got a long side, you got short sides, and you're going to need to put those together. These did not come with, but most will come with holes already pre-drilled. These didn't come with pre-drilled holes, not that big a deal. And I suppose if you wanted to, you could just pound into them. I think you're going to get some splits if you do that. So it's better to drill a pilot hole. And quite simply, I turn around and go, hey, I've got a use for my drill press. I'm using a 1/8 inch bit on this drill press, and it was just simply, and it took me probably less than a half an hour to do the holes in all these woodenware. So using 1/8 of an inch, how do you put these together? Well, they basically just slide together. The way I do it that makes the most sense is I put them down on the board. Here's a handy hint from Dave. And how do I know this? Because I've done it before. Make sure your handle grips are all facing the same way. Yep. And make sure that you don't accidentally put a handle grip on the inside. Yep, done that too. Okay, so pay attention. It's gonna help you out in the long run. So simply put these down and you fit them together. It's that simple, and you fit them together. Now, if you want, I said you could get by with just this tool. I use a rubber mallet to help me tighten up the joints, and just a little tap will seal it on that side, and then holding tight, a little tap will put it together that way. And then you put in your top piece. And again, I just tap it down. Get that out of there. And then you're ready to nail it together. Look what I did. Please find the irony in that. Oh, welcome to my living hell. Let's flip that around and put it in the way it's supposed to go. Oh, Lord. It ain't easy being me, I'm telling you. So, okay. So, Uncle. Let's see if we can get this right this time. Okay, are all the handles facing up? Well, look at that. Okay, so there you have it. We're about ready to just nail this whole thing together. But before you do that, I would add a third tool, and here's a handy hint. If you want something to be absolutely square, the diagonal corners have to measure the same across. And if they measure exactly the same across, you're perfectly square. And you want them perfectly square because you don't want them all wanky on your hives. You want them all to be squared up. You owe it to yourself. If you're gonna do it right. And these happen to be exactly where they need to be. And a lot of times when you're putting these together, and especially when you've got a good tight fit like this, they're going to be that way. It's a pretty simple way to adjust it. You just kind of squeeze a little bit, move it around a bit. It won't take a whole lot. So handy hint to measure these out, it's 25 and 5/8 inches, and I just mark my ruler at 25 and 5/8. And I do it on both sides just so I don't have to be rolling the ruler around so much. 25 and 5/8. And you measure it out. And then I can come over here and I'm exactly where I want to be. And now it's time to nail them together. And I know some of you are going, hey, wait a minute. Don't you want to put glue on those edges? Early on I did. And then I realized it really didn't make that much of a difference. So I just don't do it anymore. It's an extra step that's not necessary because you're basically putting you're putting nails into this. You can't screw them if you want, but you're putting nails into two different ways, and it's gonna hold everything locked tight. I've had supers out in the yards for 10 years without glue, and they're holding up just fine. And again, they're year-round because I'm using supers obviously for collecting honey, but if you watch my other videos, I use them for insulation. I use them to surround feeders. That's a video I think in a week or two. I'm redoing my feeding system, and there's just not a need for it. So how do I put these together? I am using, and the most common nail to use on these are 2-inch 6D nails. I got these at where? Ace Hardware. I don't know, wasn't a whole lot of money, but you can get 6D nails anywhere at a hardware store, big box store. And I start out on opposite corners because that locks everything in for me. And I just simply put the screws in place and nail them in. Then I flip around and do the other side. Before I do this, I make sure everything's tight. Give those a little hit. These were tight to begin with. And then measure twice, cut once, or measure twice, nail once. And I'm off a little bit, okay? So just to get this back in square, you just push a little bit on the edges until you're completely evened up. You've got a little bit of play once you've done that first one. And measure on the other side. I'm gonna squeeze this one in just a tad. Keep measuring, right on. So then, and maybe another handy hint is hold onto the box that you're pounding into so that you're not moving things around, and make sure that you're even, and just in it goes. And then you still have a little wiggle room. I just keep measuring because I want these things to be exact on the hives. I know it's just me. Okay, so I've got that done. Now we just simply nail the rest of the box together. I will take my hammer, squeeze those in. Last side. And there you have it. When I was getting really moving on these things, I think I was doing a box every about 5 to 7 minutes. It's a pretty quick task. There's not a lot to it. It's not complex, and your cost can be up to half as much. So I highly encourage you to do it. Plus it just feels good. It just feels good to have it. So there we go. I'm going to paint these all up. Again, I'm going to refer to my paint them video. I've got a hack on that lets me paint. I've got, let's see, 19 boxes over there, or 18 or whatever. I think I have still a couple to make. It'll take me basically one day to paint all those boxes, and that's dry and everything. So it's just not a real complex thing, but it's a quick way. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Please, if you would, if you've not subscribed, I'm really trying to reach that 1,000 point, and I'm very, very close. So I'd like you to be part of the first 1,000, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But again, appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Be good. Happy bees.